Hey everybody, Fun Stampers Journey Coach Janice Whiting here. I am Fun Stampers Journey Coach Executive Manager and Coach number 33. And in this video, I want to show you a super sweet card that I made using our Kit of the Month stamp set, which is called Hello Sunflower. And if you saw my last video, you saw me make the actual card kit cards. So just really quickly, you probably saw these. And these again were from our Bloom Box kit for September. And I changed up the color scheme on those, and I just love this stamp set so much. It's so beautiful that I was inspired to make another card. So here it is. Da, 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 da. I loved these sunflower images, and I thought it'd be so fun to kind of follow suit and make a layered card. I say layered card, what am I trying to say? A specific die cut shape card. So if you'll see, opens up, and I want to show you how I created this. So from how I colored the sunflowers, so fun, to how I did the background, and of course putting it all together. So again, this was from our Hello Sunflower kit and Bloom Box kit, and you are able to purchase these kits right this minute. And I'll go ahead and put the code there. You'll go to my website, which is www.funstampersjourney.com/Janice Whiting, and then click on shop and then Bloom Box, and you can put that in there and get the kit today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip over, change the camera view, and show you really quickly how I kind of put that together and some of my coloring, and then we'll come back to you. Stay tuned. Okay, so what you're going to need is for your card base to create the die, the card shape, you are going to need some oatmeal cookie cardstock at about 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 in width. And you are going to die cut 2 of the largest die from this Treat Labels die set. And on one of them, you will use these Treat Label piercing elements to create this fun details here around the edges that just add a nice little extra level of detail to your card. Okay? And then we will assemble this towards the end, so you can take the one that's not, does not have the piercing element and kind of, the one that does not have the piercing element and put it off to the side, okay? Now from here, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the background with all of those fun, beautiful sunflowers there. And to do that, we are going to use our True Color Fusion Dark Roast ink. Now I've got my large image already set up on our acrylic block F, okay, and I'm going to ink this up a few times and just stamp it all over. All right, so we've got that stamped all over, so pretty. And from here, we're just gonna kind of leave this for a bit, put it off to the side, and we are gonna go ahead and create these beautiful sunflowers that came from our Hello Sunflower stamp set. Now again, remember, this is the stamp set that comes with our September Bloom Box kit. If you want to purchase just the September one and not the 6-month subscription, it is $29.95, and it comes with everything you need to create 4 cards plus the stamp set, okay? And it is exclusive to the kit. You cannot just get the stamp set until actually after the month of September, and then while supplies last, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead, and what I did is I grabbed just a spare sheet of our whipped cream cardstock, and I went ahead and I stamped the large bloom on it using our black licorice ink. Went ahead and just did that just to save time. And then also, you'll also need to stamp the second size sunflower. So we've got the large one, but also stamp the second one. Now I already had and stamped it and colored it just to have it ready to roll. But I wanted to show you how I colored the sunflower. And then show you how to put it together. Now the other thing that you'll need to do is, so you'll stamp this once, and actually you'll do it a second time and just color the center, okay? Because the center is going to be popped up. Let's see if I can show you on my original card. The center is popped up. It just gives it a fun little extra added dimension, okay? All right, so now we're ready to kind of show you how to color. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this a little bit. There we go. Awesome. And then from here, of course, you have so many different coloring choices. I just hadn't played with my Copics in a long time, so I wanted to go ahead and get those out and color my sunflower using my Copic markers. So for the yellow part of the sunflower, I used 3 colors. I used, here we go, Y26, the mustard, Y15, and Y38. Let's see if I can show you that there. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and color this, and I will do it in kind of fast mode, so that shortens up the video a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and start that now. Okay, so I've laid down the first color. Again, it's Y15. Okay, it's cadmium yellow. Okay, and now from here, I'm going to bring in my second color, which I use kind of as a shadowing color, which is Y26. And I'm just going to come in. I'm going to follow these lines that are kind of already in there around the edges of the center, and then on the tips, wherever the natural shading is already there from the stamp set. All right, you can already see that it's starting to kind of get a little bit more life to it. Now I'm going to come back in with Y38 and just make that color pop, make it a brighter, slightly more orange color to it, just really adding a little bit more depth of color. Okay, so I've added that. Now, I don't want it to be such a, I don't want to see those stark lines. I'm going to come back in with Y15, and I'm going to blend that in as best as I can. All right, so now we can see some of the kind of the orangey color, but now it's a little bit blended, a little bit better. It's not so streaky, and now we're good. Okay, so now you're wondering about the center, and I did color the center on this one, and the colors that I used for that, I just mixed 3 of our kind of brown tones here. I started off with E37, E47, and then E49 for kind of like my darker shades. Since this is going to be on the bottom, since basically this is going to come and cover it up, I'm not going to necessarily color this with my Copics. I'm actually going to use one of our small Fun Stampers Journey daubers. I love these guys, and some of my hazelnut blend ink. So we're just going to dab it a little bit, and then just kind of fill it in a little bit more. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually going over the center a little bit, because I actually want some of that brown to kind of creep up into my yellow petals just a wee bit. just again, to give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more contrast, not a lot, just a little. So I just kind of do this little flicking motion a little bit, and sometimes a little bit of a swirl. And the idea is I could put this brown center here that I colored right over it, and there's just a little bit of like a dark halo around it, because that's kind of what I'm going for. So fun. Okay, so let's see, got that one done. Now the only thing I need to do left with this is the green stem, and for the green I chose YG93 and YG97, and I will go ahead and just color that one. This one is easy peasy. There's not much to be done really here as far as shading and adding some dimension, because the awesome thing about this stamp is that it kind of provides that shading for you. So there we go. And now one last step is to kind of go over and blend the two together. All right, okay, so we've got that. Really the only other thing that I can think of is every now and then I'll go back if I feel like this was a little too dark, or I wanted it slightly more blended. I'll go back with my colorless blender and I'll just maybe add, take away just a little bit from each kind of center of the petal. And it kind of acts as a little bit of a highlight. And it's not, again, not very much, just a wee bit, and you may not even be able to pick it up on the camera. And that's kind of really all I do, to be quite honest. And that kind of brings out some of that yellow, and then we kind of call it good. Ooh, there we go. Loving it. Okay, so the flower is done. Really the next step is to do what I did here, which is just to cut this out and then pop this little guy up, and then we'll be ready to assemble the card. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have fussy cut that beautiful sunflower, and now we are ready to put this card together. All right, so to begin with, we're going to bring back the base, the second die cut piece, and what we're going to do is we are going to basically, we're going to adhere these two together, but before we do that, we're going to just score a little line here just at the top. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring my scoring tool out real quick and turn this on its side here. To make sure it's nice. Oops, just kidding. I'm going to make sure it's nice and straight. It's lined up here. And I'm going to score it on, let's go with this line right here. Oopsie. All right, so I've got my line scored. There we go. I actually did two, but that's okay, that top one. And you're going to fold back on that score line. And this right here will be what you adhere to your kind of front flap of your card, so to speak. Okay, so then that will creates the kind of what you can open your card, the place that you can open your card at. But we'll kind of adhere that towards the end, but it's good that it's ready to go. Now we're going to go ahead and bring in a couple of pieces of cardstock. So first we have our dark roast, and then we have our buttercream. And this piece here, it's about, gosh, I think it's 1 and, you know what, I'm not going to guess it because I remembered and then I forgot. Oh, that's right, 1 5/8 of an inch width by, I believe, 5 1/4. And this one is 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. Oops, sorry about that. And basically what I did is I basically adhered it right over the edge of this card and then trimmed it once we've got it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out our craft glue. And so this is our Fun Stampers Journey craft glue. It is awesome, wonderful. I use this probably more than, I'm so sorry about the shaking, more than any glue out there. And to be quite honest, I am almost out of it. So we're gonna see, hopefully it can last me for a little bit here. So I'm gonna, it's gonna, we're just gonna say that it's gonna make it, shall we? All right, and we're going to go and I'm going to put it right over these two little edges here, and I'm going to try to do it as straight as I can. And actually the real, like the best way to kind of see is you can turn it over and just kind of make sure it's even. And I'm not going to worry too much about it being like absolutely perfect, but I'm going to say that's pretty close. Them that way. So there's that. And then we're going to take our buttercream panel and we are going to adhere this. See if my glue will last me. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our white strip, or excuse me, our buttercream strip, and we are going to adhere that straight on top of the dark brown. And we're not going to put it in the middle. We're actually going to put it kind of towards the top, maybe leave about 1/4 of an inch or so up above. And then just kind of press down. And then of course we're going to turn it upside down and trim. All right, okay, and so that one is good to go. All right, now from there we're going to take some of our cocoa powder gingham ribbon. So fun. I love our ribbon. I love this particular one. Number one, I love gingham. Number two, it's perfect for these kind of browns. And I don't ever know exactly the measurement. I just kind of grab some and I leave about 4 or 5 inches extra, and that's usually enough for me to make a bow. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bow. So your bow is going to be kind of off to the side. Okay, it's all bark out, and we'll trim that here in a minute and kind of fluff it out in a second. But for now, we are going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. And the sentiment is Hello Sunshine, and I stamped it using our black licorice ink. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. And I probably would have normally stamped this before adding the ribbon, but you know me, I forget things and I go out of order, and really it's okay. Okay, so that's going to go right below, and let's see if I can get this just right. Sorry about my shadow there. Perfect. All right, so there's the Hello Sunshine done in black licorice, and we can poof that bow out here in a minute. So we've got the ribbon, we've got the panels, and now of course it's time to add our beautiful sunflower pieces. And we're going to adhere the middle of our sunflower with a large pop dot or foam square. That's going to go right, and look, it just kind of gives it a little bit of dimension. Now again, with our craft glue, we're going to just put a little bit of glue here on the bottom because we're going to adhere the second smaller sunflower on top and at an angle. So kind of the idea that I had was that it would look like it was coming from the same, it was crossing over, you know, or almost kind of like it's coming from the same stalk there, but really just kind of crossing over. Now, one thing I did not mention was this, and I'm going to do it here, but I did it here in the center, was the technique of, you know, I don't want to fussy cut that center, this little piece right here, but what I could do is I can get, and what I've done is I got a Copic marker that kind of matches the same color as the cardstock, and for our oatmeal cookie E43 is kind of a good match. And so instead of worrying about fussy cutting that out, I actually just colored it. And so I'm going to do the same thing with this little area here. Any areas in between that were just kind of too small to cut out, just color it with a Copic marker that matches the cardstock underneath, and then you're good to go. All right, so don't worry if you get overage there. It dries clear, and so that glue will be good to go and be gone. You won't even notice it when it's dry. Now, the other thing I wanted to notice or wanted to point out is that what I like to do towards the end, after I fussy cut a card, is I go back and to kind of keep the whiteness, so to speak, of that of the cardstock that you use to kind of show through. Sometimes it'll just kind of be really obvious that you cut it out and there it's you're using white paper as opposed to the actual color of the flower. Is I come in between different sections of it, and the white doesn't really show so much on this one, but sometimes if you've got itty bitty little sections, or even maybe, let's see right there, that white is showing. A little technique that I do is I just kind of come over it with a neutral color, and this is the Y26 that I used on the sunflowers. And I just kind of cover those areas up. Just again, you'll notice I'm going just on the sides. And not only does it kind of take that whiteness away, but it even just heightens and kind of gives it a little bit of more contrast, just a wee bit on the edges. And I just kind of love that it gives it a finished look. And even look, I forgot that little part, so I'm going to come over and color that. And you could do the same thing with other colors. The other colors with a similar or with the same one. The point here is that you don't have the core white paper kind of showing through. So that's something that I do to kind of finish off my cards. All right, so I've got this one pretty much kind of where I want it. And so we are going to use some of our adhesive foam squares, or larger ones, to kind of pop this up and out. And so I'm going to do, I think, 2, and then I think I used 1 here. And this is what kind of keeps him stuck to the other one just a little bit, kind of keeps that angle going. And then we pop him, and actually I'm going to use one of our small ones for the stem because I want him kind of popped up or off the page too, just a little bit. Make sure he's not showing. And I think we're good there. You know what, I'm going to trim him. There we go. All right, and then he gets popped off here. Again, just a little bit off to the side. So the leaf is kind of here. I think I'm going to lower him just a wee bit. Again, our craft glue is awesome. We can kind of move it around. Doesn't dry instantaneously. All right, okay, so we've got him. We've got the leaf or the stem part done. And this panel is pretty much complete. So the very, very last step that you're going to do is you're going to adhere this to that back panel and the flap that you already created. And again, I use our craft glue. You could use whatever. I just find our craft glue handy. It is quick drying, but there is enough of a little bit of a give while it's drying. So you've got a few seconds to kind of move it around and get it to be exactly where you want it, position it before it dries. Tape runners are great, but for whatever reason, I just prefer the liquid glue. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of hold that down there a little bit. That'll give me a little bit of time to work on my bow. I'm going to, let's see, do I want it this way? I guess we'll do it this way. Snip the ends there. Trim the end here. Fluff it up. So cute. Love it. You know what? I think I might need another, you're not sticking. I'm going to need another one of those foam squares so that it sticks to the actual cardstock, and that'll help it hold it down. There we go. Okay, so there we go. All right, so what do you think? Do you like it? Is it fun? So fun, so fun, so fun. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so, excuse me, and I just realized that my bows were different. Ha ha, here's my original bow is kind of straight, and then the new one bow is kind of crooked. It's all right. I think they look great either way. So super, super fun. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Now again, I was using our Hello Sunflower stamp set from the September Bloom Box kit. Again, if you want to subscribe to our 6-month club, 6-month subscription club, the kit is $24.95 a month. But if you just want this one particular kit, then it's $29.95. Now again, it's an exclusive stamp set. set, and I want to tell you right now, it's probably going to sell out because they only buy a certain amount. The first go to our actual subscribers, and then after that, if we have any extra, it'll go to the ones who want to purchase just the one kit and not the 6 months. And then usually if there's any extra stamp sets, they'll sell them kind of a la carte the month after, but a lot of times they will sell out, and this one is probably one of those. So if you want it, you probably better get it soon. All right. Now, if you join my subscription, my 6-month subscription club, you get one of our full, our year-long full catalog, inspiration book and catalog. I send you for free, as well as any of our minis while you are part of my subscription, and some treats and surprises along the way, including our Coach Collective tutorials that I sell for $15. Those will also be handed to you. So I am so thankful, and I appreciate my Balloon Box Club subscribers, and so I love just to send those things out to them just as a thank you. All right. Of course, that's only for my 6-month subscribers. If you just purchase the kit alone by itself, then I'm still thankful, but you don't get all the other things. So anyway, again, if you want to purchase this kit, then the item number is there up on the screen for you. And again, go to my website, www.funstampersjourney.com/Janice Whiting. You can click on the shop link and you can shop there like you would any online store. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned a thing or two, and we'll see you soon. Bye.